We're pulling up to a border patrol, I assume, checkpoint. I've driven across the highways here my whole life, and I can't think of a time where I've seen a checkpoint like this on a major interstate highway. Good evening.
How you doing today?
Okay, how are you?
Pretty good.
Identification of anybody that they have
Or to irresponsibility by others.
I will now sign Senate
Attempting to pass similar laws that were always vetoed by Governor Janet Napolitano, the Arizona government tried again with Arizona State Bill 1070, but this time Napolitano was appointed to a different position and her replacement Secretary of State of Arizona, Jan Brewer, approved the bill.
The proposal for the bill reached legislature in January 2010, where it gained the approval of 36 sponsors, one of whom was State Senator Russell Pierce, who successfully put several pieces of legislation into action involving immigration.
There is no place for hate in this debate. It hurts everybody. This is about the rule of law. And like I tell people, we must enforce the law with compassion, but without apology. When I say compassion, I mean no name calling. We don't need to be out there, and we're not out there chaining people to walls and fences and putting them in concentration camps. We give them a ride back.
During the process of consideration, 58-year-old Robert Krentz was shot and killed while doing work on a fence on his ranch property about 19 miles away from the Mexican border. The assumption was that he was killed by an illegal immigrant attempting to enter the country. This incident increased support for the bill's passing.
The bill was passed April 19th, but Governor Jan Brewer did not sign the bill into law. With such heavy support on both sides of the issue, it was said that no matter what she did, the decision would not be popular. On April 23rd, she did sign the bill.
The objective of SB 1070 is to prosecute and deport illegal immigrants. It would make the failure to carry documents of U.S. citizenship a state crime. It gives the police power to arrest anyone suspected of immigrating illegally to the United States and ask for such documents.
Pierce says the bill is constitutional. His reasoning is that it does not interfere with federal law and asks local law enforcement to defend the public against threats illegal immigrants are thought to impose. The Hispanic population feels that the Constitution is not protecting them in the same ways that it protects other ethnicities.
The Obama administration challenges the law, saying that it conflicts with the federal government's immigration policies.
Indeed, our failure to act responsibly at the federal level will only open the door to irresponsibility by others. And that includes, for example, the recent efforts in Arizona, which threaten to undermine basic notions of fairness that we cherish as Americans, as well as the trust between police and their communities that is so crucial to keeping us safe. In fact, I've instructed members of my administration to closely monitor the situation and examine the civil rights and other implications of this legislation. But if we continue to fail to act at a federal level, we will continue to see misguided efforts opening up around the country.
Has the Obama administration done enough with this?
No, they haven't done enough. I mean, Congress hasn't done enough. And the fact that the vacuum of non-action on reforming outdated and broken immigration law, that needs to be fixed. That's why we have this crisis.
But Raul Grijalva is a fierce critic of SB 1070. When the bill was signed into law, he protested, telling organizations not to bring their conventions and their business to Arizona.
Passing a law that is punitive and not a remedy. It doesn't solve the immigration issue. It doesn't make the border any more secure. It doesn't provide a legal pathway to legalization for people that are here. It doesn't reunify families. It doesn't do any of that. It's a punitive law. The only vacuum it fills is to make this issue more divisive and uglier going into these midterm elections.
That's the word. That's what the definition is.
So anyone who breaks the law is illegal?
No. It says a foreigner.
Only a
Can you
foreigner.
read? A foreigner who has entered or resides in a country unlawfully or without the country's authorization.
I'm a nurse, okay? I take care of patients, and they'll say to me, "Habla español?" No, I speak English. This is America. If you want me to take care of you, speak the English language. It's plain and simple.
They come across the border pregnant to beat all bad, and they have their babies in our hospitals. Who pays for it? We do. Proud to be an American!
But how did you get your citizenship?
I was born here. I was born in Hawaii.
Just like the babies you're talking about.
Yeah, but if the parents want their babies, they need to take them back with them and do things the right way. I'm tired of supporting them. My money pays for their hospital stays, their welfare checks. I've seen them drive brand new cars, wearing diamond rings, using food stamps.
Illegal is not a race, it's a crime.
Pierce drives the message home again.
We've taken the handcuffs off of law enforcement. You can arrest as many as you can get in the car.
Many believe that this law constitutes racial profiling, which many accuse Sheriff Arpaio of using as an excuse for his actions. His actions resulted in a 32-page lawsuit that outlines many instances of violence towards Latinos. In one case, a Latino woman who was also a United States citizen refused to sit on the hood of her car after she pulled into her own driveway. When she refused, the officer grabbed her arms, pulled them behind her back, and slammed her stomach first into the vehicle 3 times.
USA power! People power!
Protesters are targeting Joe Arpaio, the Maricopa County Sheriff, whose rise to infamy has been fueled by his highly publicized roundups of undocumented immigrants.
Need this for national attention.
But Arpaio has continued his sweeps, scheduling one today and calling the media down to headquarters.
Every day they call me a racist, Nazi, Hitler. Let them call me. I don't worry about it. I'm not a racist. I'm doing my job.
Are today's sweeps meant to be time for the media being here?
No, I'm not here for the media. I'm here to send a message on this law. I was going to enforce it no matter how it went. I keep my promise. And I'm sending a message out today that I'm going to enforce all the laws, and I'm still going to enforce the laws and not let some decision deter me.
If I don't name it, then it can be about that, right? So here are a group of people saying, we don't care about race. This is about legality. But you look at who gets arrested. You look at the implications of everything they're saying, and it's deeply divided by race.
Luis Fernandez is a professor of criminology at Northern Arizona University.
When it comes to immigration, one of the things that is the most incredible to me is the number of myths around immigration. And there's at least a 30-year history of scholarly work that shows that immigrants commit fewer crimes than the general population. And an individual, as undocumented, actually pays more taxes than it takes out. It's a moral panic. It's not about data. It's not about information. It doesn't matter what the reality is. It's what the perception is. So if I can convince you that this is a really scary place, that undocumented people take money out of our coffers, that they will murder you and come into your homes and steal your kids, if I can convince you of all that, then it becomes real.
This law is threatening foreign relations between Arizona and Mexico. Mexico is accusing Arizona of being racist and wants the law repealed. Officials are concerned that this conflict could result in unfair treatment of U.S. citizens in other countries, as well as issues during future negotiations. Mexico cannot effectively conduct negotiations when foreign policy decisions can be undermined by individual states.
Against this law because it's not the responsibility of local law enforcement. I think it divides us from our community.
Does it seem like Washington's doing enough on this issue?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
If anything, that I will give credit to SB 1074, and who knows, maybe this was the ultimate goal of the people involved with it. They have brought this issue to the forefront where it belongs. We can no longer as a country hide our head in the sand about immigration.
Because Arizona State Bill 1070 was passed, it has created an unpleasant and unpeaceful environment in Arizona. By granting police officials the ability to utilize racial profiling to decrease the number of illegal immigrants in the United States, the Arizona State Legislature is opening the door for more protests, rallies, violence, and overall social unrest. This bill also has the power to ruin the United States' foreign relations with Mexico, which can be detrimental to major aspects of the U.S. economy as well as Mexico's.
What's coming across that border today are gang members, drug smugglers, human smugglers, child molesters, rapists, yeah, and people looking for a better way of life, but destroying the jobs for America.
What does it mean? I mean, who has the right to move? Who doesn't have the right to move? Who has the right to be stopped? Who doesn't have the right to be stopped? Who has the right to live, love, and work, in a particular location? Who has those rights and who doesn't?
I do sense a growing anti-Hispanic feeling in the community and across the nation, and that scares me for my kids.
What does it mean to be illegal? And what does it mean to be American?